Joe, area busia. Me mamu nyina mo akwaba. Any di mo unya ba body and share video no tentem. Na ye entwetwe komo. Today happens to be the 1st of a year. The 1st of June 2025. Baby so me no baby ba bedunie. Ti baby bia wo bia. Ma wo obi bia akwaba. Say something so I can acknowledge your presence. I say. Nti oba bomodiana eka bibi na eja. Me acknowledge your presence ewo we program you so. Facebook phone nyina me mama kwaba. Facebook upe mechi akwan Dr. Ren ana Dr. Ren Politics. Aha. So na uko YouTube so aye Dr. Ren TV and so ewo YouTube pepe. Anything menya aka ne say mame ni kan enye roko ne tentem. Mame apia me mawo akwaba Zigma bichiao. Abusiafo a ye nyina yeshi mu ha ene enkomo no ebeye de. Enkomo no a ewopono so no eye efa eye Mona OA Mona etisay. Efa owura a ye friend no Ken Ofori-Atta. Na Ken Ofori-Atta ye hwehwe no efiti eye bosome eye baako ni echire ni de bia ye to nkra efre no a se oyare na okopena yaresa ewo eye amanone eye United States of America ba me ne wo kase na no me de betu dwa ma obi ehunu se me hu Ken Ofori-Atta wo restaurant na eja odidi the way ana ogbogbo dompe mu no na abusua menim se we die enye oyarefo na egbogbo dompe mu sa ene nti me de ne mfo nyine ne video betu dwa mo nyina mo hunu de me nua Kevin Taylor kra ye se eye ono no twa samfo nyine ne video no eno de mo mfa nche no eye false eye information ana eja opede oye. But the point and the relevance of the matter they say Ken Ofori-Atta enyare me amedi meni hu no fili Gadochi ewo United Kingdom ewo Phoenix eye Palace Baker Street ewo na restaurant no ewo now eno announce me shia Ken Ofori-Atta wo baabi me saka no mo a mo hwe mo TikTok de quickly me catch the TikTok for sinya dia video we meche because mfonyini ni bibia no e de ama eye empanyfo a eye OSP pa OSP so aso eye nkrata na mfonyini nim so ye mu ana ndi OSP di asem we abeto dwa na pardon me asem na OSP di abeto dwa abusia yenko na yenko kinkan asem no a OSP di ade e de aba abeto edwa no edi asem OSP say Dr. Ren wabo adwuma ewo eye London abonten so me monitor Ken Ofori-Atta ti said de eja abranti a opese oro oba dross e monitor obato ti me man close marking mama ni close marking eti enei enra me video no OSP share video ni bi no what the abeto abonten NFS June say show up by June 2nd or face Interpol Red Notice. OSP warns Ken Ofori-Atta. Etiwei me ye me citizen adwuma. Me adwuma me radie. Me de me ho nyina bebo afore. Ti me de no so me ye adwuma magane. Me de me ho bebo afore. If we say I wanna be free, you know that and check we track cassette the above. But on a more serious note, it tells you the power of social media. And that is why I advise people to use your social media platforms very wisely. Now, my name is OSP, me maka. This time around, and my name is or the wanted etu Ken Ofori-Atta, so say Ken Ofori-Atta amba. Not or the most wanted etu ne soa as a fugitive of justice. rinse this and the decision, you know. You be your money close marking. And they mean cram in Saka and say, Opeso Cobon Wager outside a year London. A man for soon needing commerce is better say Obeba Ghana. It ye heard him. There or not to say Obetia Futu no about Ghana. And answer on tier Futu no. So when tier Futu did ya, the uncle for catcher and say, why an argument say, or the no work we see was Singapore. And now say, or the no work we see, a year, say Guyana or say Guyana. This is the information may gather. Of course, and yensi yentino, mean to me, cassette, a idea, enona, a bed, a bebim. But they say, Bemudia, let's just say, most wanted, I say the tuniso. Na yemu be a boa by no, any a year ain't tapu, near chino, eba Ghana, or ma'am. I was just have a pair out that way, the bonnet dorso. In your ma, why ye, a dear tia or my Ghana, a dorso. Sameka say name me, ye me show we na me dedicating in Adiama. Ken Ofori-Atta. Be time crown. Just this a affable. Because and she say any a memo fun obey a finance minister or do a my Ghana fair mu atete yawo and a punishment or punish Ghana. Indeed, this man deserves to be behind bars. Eye ora Ken Ofori-Atta. And a concept no kakra bi no wate de ntia eye yankasa yen OSP, Office of the Special Prosecutor, say yenchi eye Ken Ofori-Atta. Na me this 10 sins of Ken Ofori-Atta ebede me bosu nyina ma wetie bi ne sins a woyeti a oman Ghana abusia yaso na tie bi because eyade a eyese yedi ho nkomo pa and it's member of the political sins a woye eti papa we die number 1 list of cases a Ken Ofori-Atta odi yeti a oman Ghana me de ni nyina be kire wa Ken Ofori-Atta nyoma woye de kire Ghana. 1. Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited and GRA contract. Contract, 419 fraudulent activities. Eye Ken Ofori-Atta. Odi ne nimo papa wo go to Bible. Papa ono de wo use Nyankopon din de bokoro no de wiawa amansan ejapade. Ye tosu mienu. Osi ECG and Beijing Technology Limited contract termination. Kwanya wo fast what terminate sa contract me kind of contract na tie ye. Number 3. Udim de tia masra fa number 3 hono. Nana eye osiade yo osagefo nana do ma hene. Nana agima bedu otoso mienu wo say ya chiwu ntimi dia wono mu omobo aban no krono efa eye National Cathedral no so omu nyina no eden etwe wo maso na oman no ye pay ensika na agi ensika ampa. One of the sins number 3 eye National Cathedral project ekwan omofa so omudi edada Nyankopon twediampon batayadom Yesu Kristo neja eye papa ye friend Ken Ofori-Atta onni nua na nado danko Akufo-Addo edada Ghana fo nyina gi yensika yentoboa anom de kotu amena anom de sika ne bebre no omde kogu amanone be kire 58 million Ghana cedis anom de tutu amena. Ebusiana is not the only sika oma ne hwe you sa sika ne ye de tutu amena ye tuma tuama de ese ye tuama womo ebubu womo dan ye demolish womo dan enyamba a judge for dan na endi more than 10 years Ebubu ni nyina causing financial loss to the state. Etiene Ken Ofori-Atta mon kan kire no mo a mo ben no mo a mo nim no mo a ye mo wofa no mo papa no mo nua no mo. Se ye mu bi de ye die ni maka kire mo. Eye yen ahwehwe niwa no ye didi wo machi pa. Me satellite tracker there's a so baby bi owo bi an just say okobo no wadwa because information am inside can say you see a person who seeking for political asylum in one of the countries. A chronodine yambai, a chronodine ba, medbema. So when show up, then it means it is true, say, or Kwakwa seeking for political asylum. Now, this is what they did in 1957. This is what his forefathers, and they did in 1957. When Ghana gained independence and the nation was happy, these people, their forefathers, came to United Kingdom to seek for political asylum. British amemu aban say Kwame Nkrumah tata wo mo ntimi Kwame Nkrumah entna o man ka no kro say wo mo boni ene o mo kro no ene o mo tiri pofun ni nti na Kwame Nkrumah tata wo. So these people are known for that. They are known say ombe escape accountability. But every time they want to lead the nation, how can you lead a nation when you don't want to account for your stewardship? Now, ono the otai quote Bible pa. Etiende misme quote Bible aman. And I hope say me nuanom a mo hwe me no korre William Cap, Joe Tahiru, any black family am wo YouTube. Na me nuanom so amoso mo wo Facebook. Eye Ora Frederick. Any Gladys, any mia me nua Elvis. Mo ni nyina bedi adanse ese. Say you quote Bible no. Now one also brabe ya no because Bible no Romans 14 verse 12. Wose na emeredi dua etwase oni papa ebu akonta e woni nnwuma ho. Eri nti sane etie bi ha. Ken Ofori-Atta eso oba no bebu akonta e de ma wo man Ghana. Ekwan a wo fa so a wo mogye Ghana fo sika e de kotu amena wo ma Ghana fo boka oro NSP2. Ghana for boka teteno 580 billion cedis. Eno enso wa. Ewudie ne krono Akufo-Addo ene Ken Ofori-Atta yi eboye the banking cleanup exercise. De bia ya me boma wote na ene enso mesa bo ama wate because we should not forget things that Ghanaians we shouldn't forget. One of the policies are fear the banking cleanup exercise. Now, the banking cleanup exercise cost our dear nation a lot of money. Not only the money, but also nipa bebre ewuye. Nipa bebre pensioners through a year and she say ye fini she say ye funwa Ofori-Atta ene ne nua Nana Kwaku Nsam ebetetere ye ede so Ghana no ye boka ye komu no ye bedi ho nkomo. Enti number 3 no ye National Cathedral. De enti a meje ebre se ebre mensa ebre ewo National Cathedral no eye se enye obi a wo ba edin mu nyame ana ye onokwa onyankopon odofo a wodo nyame wo hwe sa nkofo we a they came in the name of Jesus Christ. Little did we know, say, the format of the neocons, no, and we use that template, no. Yenka said, yes, some yami. Yenko Bible. Na Christo for the do 70%, enka said, we mu dear. Omo ye nyankopon. Ebusiafo. Oboa. Omonteda. Obonsam kra okotu Bible. Nampese. Ken Ofori-Atta. The atoso and 9 a procurement of ambulances. A kwan ya fa so a me yakototo ambulances. Sikedie ni sikewia na ewo mu. Ebusua ese wani ense o ka kire. The atoso enum a Ghana Revenue Authorities Woman say tax refund account payment. Ghana, why we are Juma? Na se utia taxes na bro so a. Sa afini mu nyina no file tax na ban no say taxes na bro so a. Esi etua de abro so no de ma. Wan kasa wa wo modene bone taxes. Na we dey taxes are Ghana for adwadifo, Ghana for companies, individuals, file one taxes. And a bro so I think tia back at the maw. Papa we can Ofori-Atta will be a separate account. And as I see can I say can call Ghana for no one. Turning in the cocoa, a private account. And we yes can. The idea, Abusia, Wankasa, just imagine. Ebi no de landina, Jikanza, a yekedo Ofori-Atta, wode ebo modina, wode every a year akoko, drumstick, any chicken, any dear woko, a woman table no so dear next wefe pa. One in a year, and in a year down Obruni fita. The year in the minimum so no ye mystery so say cocon or you said you, I woman so sa. And a normal table no. And our branch mystery 10 gram in him say the bodyguard in ya. But then ran to me who. Na OSP. Many aunties said me video am here and ran. We do one and more, we 2 1 and more. And they with the above 12 on Tiama Ghana for United. But it should not end there. So this is just the 5 sins I can Ofori-Atta ye. Now, yebekwa enseminim. Onyame, God is God. Richmond J was said this OSP is really useless. Now, this is the last straw. Ken Ofori-Atta Ghana, we should arrest him. Interpol, Enyane Juma, send your mama. Omode a year the national security. At that time, we landing no. Omonyo Juma. Pepe, Ebusia, sanity. Now, Yanko, the other matters of Ken Ofori-Atta. Obian Kanchero, this is a mepen and meka sans in natural. Na some matters needed, and then be swatchero. Who be drew. Messedian, who be then, a be drew. Ken Ofori-Atta, or you wouldn't papa. And yet, was started so old digane. And yet, with the Nina Bemau, a fat Ken Ofori-Atta. Now, Ora Ken Ofori-Atta we were born by Ghana chrono many times. And many times he be announced no. Or then he runs away from justice. In 1981 or 1991, or the year a Kubia, or Majiji Obi a year, and a friend of Botan Insurance Company. Or say an insurance company. Papa wait this insurance company Jiji in Confusika. Kovietri or the Confusika. Lucky about multi-party democracy in 1992 and was signed by back. It is a cool way there. They are very well known for Fracadam and 419. Omo ye azanfo papa. Omo ye nkophobia. Omo ye very cunning. Omo ye nadafo. Now, me the nsem ni nyina betoa ama wahunu de kudie ntia. Me bo wamane efa Ken Ofori-Atta. Won free nyame no onsom nyankopon no yazani, we should put it on record. that he claims there was some Yankupon and no boa. And no a azar a 419. Now, Sa papa we ya ye Ken Ofori-Atta. Ejuma dia o my Ghana. Ye hye ye kodu baabi no obaye no ne nua Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo. Wo mo be say no oto. Na meka ne say. Ma menka o se wure free banking cleanup exercise. This particular family of my Ghana, ye banks are na ye wo. Banks are indigenous Ghanaians ABA. Or tiny and liberty, these people came to destroy our banking sector. All in the name of a so-called cleanup exercise. Now we all know what happened during this banking cleanup exercise. You see, and said, Omubegu Ghana for Numa, Ankran Ghanaians are Omubo Omo Martini, Ombegu Omunuma Poto. You know what I say? Sa Jumani be a Ombegu Ghana for Jumano. Affected our nation. And yet the capital circulation in our system, you know. And my Ankran these rural banks, Ghanaian banks, I work villages, towns, you know, and come bosia. Nankebi and the Gary be or do a banch of or by a Gary, a year factory be, and Kobenya Security workers, Nankadachi Bino, Sanigari, Uchan the bank, no, Ton Gary Noa, which me then, which me the car, what they bank, no. These people deliberately, and I use the word deliberately, collapse indigenous Ghanaian businesses. One, to say Omugu foreign company be. I stand to be corrected, but media say banking cleanup exercise no. One foreign company neka. Now, a year businessman be to say a year angel group of company. A year Papa Noah or year angel or no. Dr. Kwekuoting. Or say, Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo amemmo ni ba ye no ebeha ne papa. Ebi abeka se meboa. Me dance ye otrofo se me dance for wa brochi. Iti ebekwa akoti. Papa na nenum asem de wokan ye. Na wonso watie bi na wonso wehunu asem a meka se enye entrobi na metwa. Iti yentie eye owura a ono a angel group of company, Dr. Kwekuoting, on one enum asem, yentidi or kind.
Yes. 20 last year.
Last year,
the more 2024, 2025, we had them my papa.
It way, a asem a Owura Kwekuoting walk.
Last year, the more day, my papa. 2024, 2025, we had day, my papa. Pusha bravo, I see bravo, say, no, the more day, my papa. 2024, 2024. It was bad year. No personal, and I say, so say, a human and a subject. A buy so a boy, my humacoso. Okay. Now, dollar, the way a dollar se call, you know. From 2022, last 2 years or last
2022,
from 1922, man.
Yeah.
The $1 is move, you know. No question, they say, I'm more businesses.
Wow.
No crazy, you're not a kidding. Because we a businessman.
Yeah.
Into all kind of kidding. But 2024, yeah, let the mamma pa. $1 and the $1 is move. You don't sell $1 bear 6.
Yeah.
The move here to 12, 13, 14, 17. Now, your name answer the year you man be brave to free outside. They said like Akko.
Enti ochrechem ese Owura Ken Ofori-Atta ne eye Akufo-Addo won be say no na dwuma emu ye den ma no ma minchia Daniel achu minchia Owura Beku na minchia Owura eye Kamra ewo 18 na abusia more YouTube so no me ma nyina makwa Facebook for more body and amon share ora Antonio say Ren, the whole MPP party is azan people. Nothing is good about this group of idiots, and that is the reason why Ibubino senior people don't forget. The reason why every Sunday people go to church to listen to the gospel so that they don't forget. Why people go to the mosque on every Friday so that they don't forget. So the reason why people go to the shrine and pour libation and believe in any other gods that they believe in, so that people don't forget. And that is why my citizen duty is Ghana for forget not. It's important, forget not. That is why I always sit here and I bring you forget not. Because the moment you forget, they will come back again through their children, their daughters, their sons, their grandchildren will come back, come and steal our precious friend is a good year. And Omudwie sika ne begu abontene amanane a nom de atete wo moma na wo moma ne nyini no masa ba Ghana no ma be say they are the doyen of multi-party democracy. Their forefathers are the big sis. Me hwe se enimoni me ya His Excellency John Mahama sika no a big sis omo papa no muti da so no obeyi ye free se eye oman nim kra because omo ya kromfo. Anyway, that one is just by the way. Ye be nya ho time ni aye ho adwuma. Now, we aye owura aye kwakuotin. Ne no mu asem a wokafa aye amemwo fun ne amemwo bone a aye papa yi a unhunu no wo me social media odi na ebusuafo ebebe ye oman Ghana. Now, yenko the other matters a owura Ken Ofori-Atta wabeya abo oman Ghana for. And you see, and Pempi ni eka owura Ken Ofori-Atta asemo a no, he was the godfather of Omabusiano. Yes, Timmy. Omabusiano. Na Ken Ofori-Atta ni obi ano ye the godfather. Because schools are Ken Ofori-Atta kwe ne Kufuado ankobi. Ti Ken Ofori-Atta no onfa Kufuado nyehwe. Or disrespect Kufuado onfa ne nyehwe. Omu nyina omu suro no because of school kakre bi a woko ye. Na so me de minim se school de woko a ye de baba bo nipa. Ye fa school e ma meteti nipa. But clearly these people, when they got the chance, omu yusu womo positions at the beyede, at the betete or mine Ghana. Now, this Ken Ofori-Atta, he told the entire nation in Ghana, said we will not go to IMF. The question is, IMF near Koye, ana yanko. Yakoya ana yanko. And these people, so that Ghana for said they were going to build a cathedral. Omo build a cathedral now, man building. Now, remember audio bia betie every owura a friend no Freddie Blay. Sa papa ne de. Menim sebio. Say ye wo ne se the T-ball for mu, said the yo. Abusia montie Freddie Blay. Ensem hunu ne ensem fun a okafa cathedral. Momentie no.
Say the reasons why he lost sense of power.
So far as I'm concerned, is petty.
Power. He has talked about the National Cathedral, for instance. These
are petty. National Cathedral.
National Cathedral is petty?
So far as I'm concerned, is petty.
What's the Papaneka? National Cathedral and some petty. A dirty riffraff like Freddie Blay. Or say National Cathedral, no, a petty. Or no, kasi sikano abayano maya bokan. A petty. Hey, that painful we own. Where nya betrea, obemo wan wetiawo. Listen to him, oh. As far as he is concerned, the National Cathedral is petty. Obi ashe nyankopon bo, no wadi nyankopon hwamo, no wadada nyankopon, no azan nyankopon. It's petty. Money is involved. Buildings are building. Oh, Rosina, how are you? Welcome. Buildings are beautiful. Kaya Yefwa Kwakotinem. It was judges that occupied those buildings. You're demolishing it, and you're telling us it's petty. Let's just say one building here was costing $1 million. Let's just say $1 million. A Daniel Bebribeno. Would they count 58 million Ghana cedis? No, yes, Kaketwa. And he's saying, it's petty. Hey, la ayila la. A traitor like
Petty?
So far as I'm concerned, it's petty. Maybe
National Cathedral, for instance, these
are petty. National Cathedral.
National Cathedral is petty?
So far as I'm concerned, it's petty. Maybe you will find the use of it later on. Indeed, I, for one, over the National Cathedral, I supported it. I thought it's good. They don't see the need. People don't see the need. People criticizing the media will go at it. But I knew and I was convinced if I've traveled around a few other countries, you see that they have national cathedrals and mosques. In the long run, it helps the country. In the long run, it brings people united. It is a national museum like that would be a national asset where it may end up even attracting more money.
Are you listening to this, man? Are you watching and listening to this?
But be it as it is, being part of it, that was used against the party. Let's accept it. But as I said, it's about 56 or so million that was. It's not, it didn't dig a major hole in our economy.
Can you imagine? Please, listen carefully to the man. Hey. And he comes from my village. Elembele, go and see how people are suffering. And listen to him the way he's talking. That arrogance. Why are you like that? As if he comes from a family that are wealthy. You're a Ghanaian, for Christ's sake. And we know how Ghanaians are suffering. We know how the Ghana Statistical Services are telling us that 8 million Ghanaians go to bed with no food in their belly. And listen to this chap. Listen to this ape. Listen to this dirty riffraff of a man. Telling us, he said, as far as he's concerned, it's petty. It didn't cost us anything. You see, when a man for you or my they feel, say, oh, let's carry a kid to help, because amount of money where we are what GMPC board, so where we are no, we wouldn't say where they are. Yes. We wouldn't say where they are chicken change, be. And you would know. Former national chairman of the MPP, Freddie Blake, as Zaman, a 419 man. Where do you say a chicken change? Hey, any person who love the nation will tell you, hey, a chicken change. How many people no matter that sell just because of a ponchini akoko? And you are calling this, causing this financial huge loss to the state as chicken change. Hey, listen to him again.
National museum like that would be a national asset where it may end up even attracting more money. But be it as it is, being part of it, that was used against the party. Let's accept it. But as I said, it's about 57 or so million that was. It's not, it didn't dig a major hole in our economy. But of course, we use it. You went on earlier on to say,
but do you agree? Hold on the National Cathedral. Do you, or have you looked at it in this way that maybe if the government had come out to tell us this was the initial plan for which reason we needed the National Cathedral, people might have bought into it rather than the president or the former president telling us that it was a personal promise that he made to God, that if he won the election, he was going to build him a National Cathedral.
That's, you know what? Decisions are taken by leadership over what he says he made a personal promise to God, whatever it is that you want to talk about. Maybe it's a question of presentation.
Thank you, Robert.
Since I am a leader, I made a promise that this country, I want people of this country to have free education, national health insurance. These are most often a decision that the leadership comes out with. If it turns out well, it's good. We're building Jubilee. Kufuor was building Jubilee. Some said they will make it into a coup and thought it was unnecessary.
You see how this man is so dumb. When you live in your village in Zima, people don't even have clean water to drink. People don't even drive on good roads. And you are sitting here. Do you know how much a year 58 million, 2, 3, 4 kilometers of road?
A major hole in our economy. Be a national asset where it may end up national cathedrals and mosques. In the long run, it helps the country. In the long run, it brings people united. It is a national museum like that will be a national asset where it may end up even attracting more money than the money used for it. But be it as it is, being part of it, that was used against the party. Let's accept it. But as I said, it's about 56 or so million that was. It's not, it didn't dig a major hole in our economy. But of course, people use it. You went on earlier on to say,
but do you agree? Hold on the last.
So clearly, these were the men that were leading the nation. And no one that said, oh my Ghana. Especially because it's not his money. Right, Kofi? It's true. And there is consequences they have to face. Now, Mamenfa Assembly Emam about Ken Ofori-Atta. Now, Uko AfricanWatchOnline.com 2020, AfricanOnline.com 2020. June, exactly 5 years. And thank God, 5 years. The 5th year. Or say, Mamenfa Nchrem, Mamenfa Nchrem. Okay. Now, Mame any me full picture so that me share and will be no be William, $58 million pet you. Hey, in Gofono, Tina Jomama can say it was a crime scene. Proper crime scene. Read this. I hope say yes. Oh dear, my main king. Or see Ghana. How clean is Ken Ofori-Atta? This is AfricanWatchOnline.com. Or see, President Nana Akufo-Addo calls his cousin and finance minister Ken Ofori-Atta an economic magician. Before taking office in 2017, Ken Ofori-Atta, an investment banker, and here, or say, so-called built an investment bank, a business empire on real estate transaction with what? A state institution. Now, Tihao. A deal that one of Ghana's own government criminal investigation agencies have deemed fraudulent. Utio, Ken Ofori-Atta from 2020, and the movie just say asset. And it appeared in the African Watch news. Now, a deal that one of Ghana's own government criminal investigation agencies has deemed fraudulent. As finance minister, now listen here. As finance minister, these people, my boy. As finance minister, he has presided over a massive overhaul of the country's banking system and wiped out most of the indigenous banks in the country in every suspicious manner. Now remember, it is Ghanaian-owned businesses, Ghanaian-owned banks. He wiped them out. So currently, you need Ghanaian-owned banks. And it is the what? The evil minds of Ken Ofori-Atta and Akufo-Addo. And yes, Nyamransem with my Ghana. Some say Ofori-Atta's darkest past makes him a man difficult to trust. And even more so, when serious allegations that he is cooking the books are swelling around the government and throughout the country. We a Steve Mallory report. Steve Mallory report. Now, what cost Steve Mallory report anymore? Effort Urak and Ofori-Atta one. You'll be amazed. Now, you read Steve Mallory the report. Or see, the finance minister Ken Ofori-Atta. Afina, yebe concept. Now, meski po part ni bi. Na ma part ni bi a ehia Ghana fo nyina. Mombo aban we you. This is the only government that obetimi achi akromfo we. Mombo aban we Ghana fo. I keep telling you. Mombo aban we. Now, see, he is not there because he is my cousin. This is the president Akufo-Addo count. Namunti Samovichia. The president went on lauding Ofori-Atta as an investment banker in our country who built a successful business, blah 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 blah, and is highly regarded in the world of finance and in the and Trump President Akufo-Addo. He's always a liar. He's a liar. And in the investment community here in Ghana, across the world, in fact, across the world, I believe he is doing a yeoman's job for this country. Obwa, they came to steal. Yet, Ofori-Atta's success as an investment banker came from a different kind of magic. Now, listen. The financial slate of hand that built two of his companies. Now, listen to the companies. Data Bank Financial Services Limited, Enterprise Insurance Company Limited, to receive $2.24 million from the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SNIT, as an investment in a dubious real estate shell company. A deal that led to the Serious Fraud Office, SFO, recommending in 2002 that he and his business partner be prosecuted. So in 2002, the SFO, the Serious Fraud Office, pardon me, was telling the nation Ghana that Ken Ofori-Atta should be prosecuted for what? This dubious deal that he had with the snake at the time. $2.24 million. Now, meanwhile, as finance minister over the past 3 years, now remember the story is 2020, Ofori-Atta has shut down 9 banks, and you know it, and several financial institutions, some merely on the basis that their owners were members of opposition parties. And he has also kept huge expenditure debt and arrears off the books in order to make the national budget deficit look smaller. Now, you remember when John Mahama was saying, he said, Ken Ofori-Atta ebuma wo man no. O kuku book no. Umakai ora John Mahama said, and semna Ken Ofori-Atta de be ka kire won. Parliament no. A wo read budget no. E dey no correct. Now omu kuku figures, numbers to make it look as if say omu ye bi edumaten. Now, this is what the president, then ex-president Mahama, was telling the nation. Did we taking it serious? Maybe the NDC people took the words of President Mahama serious. What about the entire nation? Perhaps we did not take the president's words seriously. And as someone who is taking it serious, at that time, and can say who ye or mind Ghana. But thankfully, after the election, the party members, MPP people, told the president to sack him because Ken Ofori-Atta or you'll be or you're crop for. He always dressed white. And today I'll tell you the reason why he dressed white. I'll tell you here. Now, let's continue the news. And somewhere there, we catch us saying, but Modiana, fasten your seatbelt. Na pe ebia pina colada bia na orange juice bi te semidi na nombi. Na yentu ankomaneso. I quote, I am not presiding over a government of family and friends. This is a Kufuor's words. This man is a dirty liar. Kufuor said, yes, 1 or 2 members of my family are in there. Ofori-Atta, who is the Minister of Finance, is my cousin. He happened to be the person responsible for the MPP fundraising drive. Nobody made any criticism of him when he was in that position. People made criticism. And I don't think that it is so difficult for somebody who has been the fundraiser to transition to a finance minister. According to Kufuor's wisdom, you can be a finance minister. You're free neko. Phone finance minister. Per the logic of another Danko Kufuor. Most people don't give a hoot about who a political party picks to raise funds for its activities, but they are very much concerned about the credibility and integrity of who becomes their nation's finance minister. Now, you can hear the early beginnings. In some of the doors, doors. Ken Ofori-Atta nkwadie, ne won sem. Uka se wo tro Bible kra no a, e wo ne ho a. Doors pa, yenko. The early beginnings. Many myths have been created about Ofori-Atta and Kelly Gadjepo. These are myths that people have created. And one of the myths, the President Kufuor tried to push it on the minds of Ghanaians to think, say, Ken Ofori-Atta is a very fantastic investment banker. No, he's a thief. We should call him by his name. That is what Serious Fraud Office, 2002, Wamakai. His friend and business partner, Kelly Gadjepo, became successful. One is that they arrived from the United States, where they had gone to study and work, with nothing much in their pockets. But by dint of a few dollars loaned or given to Ofori-Atta by his businessman father, they rose like a colossus, and in a matter of a few years became large investment bankers. Now this is Kelly Gadjepo. Akron Fopa. Kelly Gadjepo is Ofori-Atta's business partner, and together they own majority shares in Bank and Enterprise Group, and seemed willing to succeed by any means possible. By any means possible, they are poised to succeed. Whether they will now, through their financial trail to the top is highly questionable. Gadjepo is currently the CEO of the Enterprise Group and the chairman of the board of directors of the, at that time, he was in 2020, he was the board of director of the Electricity Company of Ghana, as well as the member of the board of directors of the Bank of Ghana. Now, connect the dots. ECG and Bank of Ghana. Just connect the dot. Ofori-Atta, Gadjepo, and a few others founded Data Bank in 1990. In reality, they started from zero. This is what they themselves said. Now, Mami Kochi Gadjepo, who in an interview with BBC in 2011, this is what Kelly Gadjepo Ekai in reality, we started with zero, but after about 9 months or so months, getting into a year, we at least were able to talk to one of the money market firms in the country into giving us a 90-day promissory note, because things just continue to be very, very tight. This is Gadjepo, who is now the chief executive officer of Enterprise Group, recalled in a BBC interview. in November 2011. Also, with that promissory note for about $25,000, the two friends began to build up a data bank and enterprise insurance. Now, you can imagine that was a treadmill because every 90 days, I was hearing from those guys, are you paying us? You said. This is what he was telling the BBC. Oh, no, we'll get back to you. The answer to Nkofona, we must have rolled over for close to a year or a year and a half. This is Gajepu, Ken Ofori-Atta, and call for. Now, the better kwanya Gajepu, and it Ken Ofori-Atta. We are my gun. Ebo my gun. And community a doors, but betray be number 2. So say, Ken Ofori-Atta any Gajepu, they did not tell you what they failed to mention to Ghanaians. And I'm about to you are soon He did not mention their benefactor and point man in the National Democratic Congress government, the late Victor Salome. The year when Ken Ofori-Atta, any MPP mobile power, omo forso Owura Akufo, Victor Salome was because Victor Salome knew a kwanya Ken Ofori-Atta mo forso a ombenya sika so mutua ema aban no. Enti Akufo-Addo mo be kaya under a year Akufo as the Attorney General. Ekochiche Victor Salome mu. Akufo-Addo koche Victor Salome because of the personal issue with Victor Salome. Or no, any Ken Ofori-Atta or issue with Victor Salome. Now, maybe Kinkai, Obetiasi. The late Victor Salome, who was the Deputy Minister of Finance under the then President Jerry John Rawlings, Salome helped Ofori-Atta and Gajepo to get a number of government contracts and deals for data bank and enterprise insurance. So Victor Salome was the one that was giving Gajepo and Ofori-Atta contracts. One of them was a sole source transaction to offload a $25 million package of government shares in 7 listed companies. Data bank, so $25 million to offload a sole source transaction. Victor Salome, Edema, Ken Ofori-Atta, and Kelly Gajepo to offload a $25 million package of government shares in 7 listed companies. Data bank, which ran the deal, hugely benefited. It subsequently benefited from more government transactions, including advising the Rawlings government on various privatization deals, one of which was the sale of French bank Société Générale of the government, 52% share, which amounted to $21 million stake in the Social Security Bank. Ofori-Atta was influential in this deal. Now, Imam Michel, add the $25 million to the $21 million Société Générale. What the boom say? Now, which people made these people rich? Obviously, you've heard it. It was Victor Salome, the then Deputy Finance Minister, under the Jerry John Rawlings regime. Salome was sentenced to 8 years in prison in 2003. Remember, in 2002, I told you the Serious Fraud Office was supposed to arrest Ken Ofori-Atta, who was the Attorney General then, Ayesenko Oyedei, or this assembly court. It was Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo. Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo's cousin, Ken Ofori-Atta. So he dropped that case and went for what? Went for who? He went for Victor Salome, because Victor Salome knew the truth about the case. Salome was sentenced to 8 years in prison in 2003 for $400,000 fraud during the then President John Kufuor's crackdown on corruption. He was released for health reasons in 2005 and died shortly afterwards. Data Bank and Enterprise Insurance breakthrough, however, appears to have come from the Social Security and National Insurance Trust Scheme in 1999. In 1999. In 2002, the Serious Fraud Office, whose function was since being taken over by Economic and Organized Crime Office, YOCO, recommended that both Ofori-Atta and Gadgetbu be prosecuted for fraud. So if Victor Salome was arrested for the $400,000, how come Ofori-Atta and Kelly Gadgetbu, they escaped it because it was the MPP government that was in power then. And then it was a year Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo. He was the Attorney General. So quickly he arrested Victor Salome. Now, whilst Victor Salome was in prison, some of his family members went to see Kufuor in private. And they gave all the necessary paperwork and documentation. Why did Kufuor fail? So be arrested. Ken Ofori-Atta. The Nananado factor. So these people, in 2002, and come mama finance minister, I'm a boy and chrono. Now, I've told you the early beginnings. Let's go to the shady dealings. What I called the shady dealings. Yeku. President Kufuor MPP government has been in office for just 1 year, brimming with fire and sulfur, as is the want of a new government in Ghana. It instituted a general investigation into the corruption in state institutions. One of these was the SNIT. Remember the SNIT? And Ken Ofori-Atta and Kelly Gadgetbu Ekobo Chrono. Ofori-Atta's SNIT fraud made up chapter 3 of the SFO's report and was headlined briefs on identified cases of improperities. The first brief involved Obotine Developers Limited. So when you hear me talk about Obotine Developers Limited, this is where it begins. According to the report, an undated investor participation memorandum from Data Bank and a letter dated 10th December 1998 from Enterprise Insurance showed that SNIT had been invited to invest in a real estate deal in Accra, buying a 3.5-acre parcel of land along Ring Road Estate between Independence Avenue and Osu Avenue, now Julius Nyerere Road. For $3.5 million, the property contained the Massilia House at number 3 Osu Avenue and 3 smaller houses. Now, this is a house. This is the house. A dining. Yeah, papa, John Boachi, or say I read your Obenum, BB Bonnie and answer MPP for back pine. Gladys Manson, see Ofori-Atta straight away immediately to jail. Now, this office is the head office of the Enterprise Group in Accra. Now, Yanko Yensen, are you watching? I hope you are watching. Now, the proposed host company for the real estate deal was Obotine Developers Limited, supposedly owned by Ofori-Atta and Gadgetbo and others via Data Bank and Enterprise Insurance Company. The proposed shareholdings structure of the deal was given as Enterprise Insurance owning 45%, a $1.8 million equity, SNIT 40%, a $1.6 million equity, and 7.5% each, $300,000 equity for Home Finance Company and Social Security Bank Investment Limited. However, on February 16, 1999, the board of directors of SNIT decided to acquire a majority shareholding interest of 55% in the project. On February 26, 1999, Ofori-Atta, then Data Bank Executive Chairman, sent SNIT Director General Charles Asari a letter or Data Bank letterhead asking him to make payment of shares of Obotine into an escrow account established at Enterprise Insurance Company Limited. The reason why Data Bank Limited, which is not a shareholder in Obotine, requested SNIT to pay the money SNIT shares into Enterprise Insurance Company account is difficult to comprehend, difficult to understand, because Data Bank is not what? A shareholder. Now, Ofori-Atta was using, to comprehend, the SFO report said, where your SFO, as small count, said, and Twasum, and Tiasianim, a chronobo, serious fraud office, now Yoku, and a Womokasa Assembly. Ofori-Atta was using Data Bank letterhead for Obotine business because at this stage, Obotine Developers Limited only existed on paper. Obotine, it was only existed on paper. Apart from that, it had not been registered as a company and so had no bank account. No money bank account, no money registered as a company. But now, Omuye dealings. Radazi. Thank you so much. Zogumicha. Emamusho, me the source never to me the betuja. Why? Who the problem? Yes. Me post the source ni bibia ma wa we feel what you say. Me kra message share on my Facebook. Why? It will call Dr. Rena. I will share every information. Why? Na musu mwenye. Because this information, womu kutuye sika edema aye africanonline.com for any other companies, other media no more source me. Emma womu pull it down everyone. Kind of Ofori-Atta kutuye sika. By a movie no. You were the hard copies no. And you were the PDF. You were hard copies no. And I have more than a good PDF no. You download the PDF. Not making. Now, Yankum. Ofori-Atta was using Data Bank obviously to do what? Defraud the nation. Consequently, on the advice of the board, reference letter dated 26 April 1999. Now listen. From the solicitor secretary to the general manager of investment and development, SNIT paid $2.24 million to Enterprise Insurance Company. The SFO report noted. Remember, SFO now is Yoku. What you say? Now, Entwasu. The amount was disbursed by as follows. Cost of shares, 55%, $2.2 million. Subscription, commission of 2% to Enterprise Insurance Company, which was an amount of 44,000 US dollars. At the time, Ofori-Atta and Gadgetbo owned majority shares in Data Bank, and Data Bank was a majority shareholder of Enterprise Insurance. They charged SNET 45,000 US dollars fee in favor of Enterprise Insurance, even though SNET had not bought any shares in Enterprise. Omoma SNET etuaka abra Enterprise enye edwuma bia. Let me take it again so that you understand. At the time, Ofori-Atta and Gadgetbo owned majority shares in Data Bank, and Data Bank was the majority shareholders of Enterprise Insurance. They charged SNET $44,000 fee as a favor of Enterprise Insurance, even though SNET had not bought any shares in Enterprise. On top shares, our Enterprise move. SNET in top shares our Enterprise. And so you must SNET to trace come our Enterprise. Hey! The only relationship that SNET had with Enterprise Insurance was that both companies were shareholders in Obota, not Data Bank. So why pay 44,000? Hey! Charlie, these people were born criminals. I was born a musician. I believe that. Oh, this guy, he's talented. He was born a footballer. Messi. I also believe that Ken Ofori-Atta and Akufo-Addo were born criminals. They were born thieves. They were born liars. Yeah, 1990 assemble. Omunjaya in 2000 millennium so omuviaye. On that February 26, 1999, the SFO report said SNET issued an Agriculture Development Bank (ADB) bank check of hey, way of $5,385,600,000 Ghana cedis in old cedis. Then $2,244,000 United States dollar to Enterprise Insurance to cover the 55% shares. Hey. NDC for one of my Ken Ofori-Atta here was Kenny. NDC for one of my Ken Ofori-Atta here was Kenny. The same NDC for one of Kofa Baumia buy. Hey, Nanuya, Mwana Mukofa by you. Mwamu J. Man solve problem, man clean up. Posterity will not forgive you guys. And I think that is why John Mahama is so serious to ensure that the mistakes of the past are corrected, so that the future generation and unborn generation who will come will see, say we have a Ghana that works for all, not a selected few. A Ghana where accountability is a must. Now, here to answer. A certificate of incorporation and a certificate of to commence business were both issued for Obota in March 1999, but were not delivered to the SNET Investment Department until 29 March 2001. MPP back power. And via a memorandum from the company's solicitor's secretary. But as of 2002, the SFO report, now Yoko, said SNET has not been issued with any share certificate yet. At the time, SNET paid the money. So SNET paid money for no work done, for no certificate issued. The company Obotan only existed on paper. There are no records to show that any evaluation was conducted by SNIT to assess the viability of Obotan before SNIT entered into the joint venture, and the relatively short period of time within which the project idea got crystallized into a joint venture. Remember, from 10 December 1998 to 26 February 1999 is quite discomforting, according to now Yoko. More shenanigans. In a message faxed to Emmanuel A. Jemfi of SNIT Investments on March 15, 2001, Obotan Company Secretary Eko Awuno stated that Enterprise Insurance Company had paid $4 billion 161,600,000 Ghana cedis, which is 1.7 million US dollars, for 42.5% of the shares. SNIT's 5,385,600,000 Ghana cedis, which is 2.2 million US dollars for 55% of the shares, and SSB Investment nothing for 2.5% of the shares. It turned out that Enterprise Insurance had not paid a single cedi for the Obotan shares, and yet had been allocated 42.5% of them. The head office of a data bank, and the head office, papa no macron no amjijin kofo japade no papa no macron no amjijin kofo japade no kofo nsase. Now Yoko SFO then, now Yoko, also said Obotan declaration that it had paid 3.5 million US dollars for the Osu Avenue property was false. The offer price of 3.5 million for a maximum of 3.5 acre appears highly uncompetitive. It said, indeed, our independent investigations have revealed that the property was sold by CFAO to Obotan developers for $1,650,000, even though the agreement covering it put the sales value at 300,000 Ghana cedis, which is $125,000. Hey. If this man called Ofori-Atta and Kojela, then the democracy is flawed. Our democracy is a scam. If Ofori-Atta say Victor Salome, yet never tum na ebe pardon no bewu na Ofori-Atta etebo na wanko prison. I think say the Attorney General onye ntem na onfa National Cathedral N7 in court, because Ofori-Atta said Yemubini special prosecutor India said he would do a gentleman's job for the nation Ghana. The Attorney General was saying docket for National Cathedral already. Any money we are because she said in 71 Jack. Minyandu baby in 71 Minyandu baby. There's a document now because Minyandu baby. Because Minyandu baby. Just say Minyandu what scammers at work, the manipulations, the dark history, Just say, minyan, because I may come one. Look, when I say Miyano say, Miyano episodes, because I have to come to the killing of the banks, the idea behind the killing of the banks. Miyanko, the governor of Bank of Ghana, Ernest Addison, says that the receiver has been able to make some recoveries. And today, Addison and so, Ochana, a effective arrest. It was a crime scene indeed. John Mahama, our president of our great nation, Ghana, was right. The real stealing are not talked about in the media. Low IQ Ghanaians are only interested in Chairman Wuntimi and other public faces of MPP. That is the cosmic truth. And that is the reason why we deserve the support. We deserve the assistance. So that some of my videos, millions of Ghanaians, I'm being honest because Charlie, my precious time and my precious hour with the ESL, and I've been doing it since 2017. I've been a young people 3 times, almost my police for Bamiche. 3 times the Ghana High Commissioner. Every year on me. All because they wanted to stop me from speaking the truth. You see, because I may call Addison the enemy, $70. If we have a bad Addison, Ofori-Atta, who was telling the truth, and $70. Another was used, the signatures, the Unibank closure. Now the former Bank of Ghana, Ora Johnson, Siama, if you remember, he was the deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana. What I say, under Mahama time. And some of the two died in 2016. Look, couple, and $70. Bad fate. Just said, then we'll go into a friend is saying, the rough justice of the year, Dr. Hindu. Any Kofi Amwabin. Because Kofi Amwabin became a friend to a godfather in Sunamwa, who is in Sunamwa. And Sunamwa was the bank ruler of a UT Bank. Or a Ghanaian, Tete no, Texas. He is a friend to the Bush family. Only George Bush Sr. And Afanyonko from the days I know Muko Suku. He is a Ghanaian. He is a multi-millionaire. A year, Ura, Ofori-Atta ya. Say, a year, Ura, Kufia Mwabi, enya favor. A free in Sunamwa. Na in Sunamwa, a shono. A year, these people are wicked. The rough justice. Then we go to putting everything in context. The Bank of Ghana governor by Ernest Addison needs to be investigated for causing financial loss to the state. Addison here. Look, this is Ken Ofori-Atta the inquiry said Aji 1 hour. A dozen me episodes, and I think they said send here a friend is saying Dr. Indum Edisa memo no chere no. For the Ejapa document, the first person who showed me the Ejapa document was in 2017 by Ora, a friend is said, Dr. Indum, Dr. Papaso Kwesi Indum. Yes. I used to work for him here in London. The businesses in London, the brain I used to. Yes. Now, Yanko Addison, I need to make kind of briefly because I said me that time, it be an episode. But I'm glad to say, Omenya warrant to arrest him. Obi andwane nko baby. MP NDC for ni na tena Ghana. JDM should go harder on these guys. Now, Mamenko a year, Ura Addison. The Bonia, any chrono mobile my Ghana. Now, yen Shady Biwa. Oh, I want him. Okay, yen Shady Biwa. Intini. These people.
Last question from you. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Page 23. Page 23. Somewhere you will see final payment for construction. 23 at the top. Last question from you.
Bank of Ghana couldn't defend the $11.9 million fraud. Bank of Ghana could not defend the 11.9 million fraud when he appeared in front of the parliamentary committee. Okay?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Page 23. Page 23. Somewhere you will see final payment for construction of the Palgo irrigation project. Yes. Palgo irrigation project, final payments. Totally. At the top there, you see the final payment for the construction of the Palgo irrigation project. The question is, I thought probably before payments are made, contractors present certificates. Because when you get to Palgo, there's nothing there. There's no even a pole. There's no even a signboard. And if the contractor is taking $11 million, there's nothing. There is no
$11.9 million.
Like a container. You can't even see the project site. So what certificate was presented before this money was paid? That's my question.
No certificate presented. Money was paid. $11.9 million.
The sun there was there's no even sun on the site. You can't even identify the site. I want to know why, how that money was paid.
He will answer.
The amount you're referring to was paid in 2021 and not 2022.
He's even saying that the amount referred was even paid. Fill the amount for this and fill it. Nice one. Lovely to see you here. He's even these people are thieves. These people, crime scene. I say an active movie to tell Ghanaians so that they will be careful about such people who wears white and come and give you quote Bible to you.
21 and not 2022.
So even the money was paid in 2021, not 2022.
Before they wrote this report.
This is the Bank of Ghana. Papa, almost secure. Yeah, a friend is saying a warrant for his arrest. It is some question. Wicked old man. Wicked old man. Wicked old man. Yeah, same way now we saw Babika.
For them, if assuming that it was something like a mobilization, but if you say final,
don't worry. You've done your job. This MP, you did your job.
Can we?
Ghana. God bless you.
Auditors, could you help us out over here? It says final payment.
Final payment.
The honorable member is saying that there's nothing at that side.
Nothing is there at the side.
In the audit, you saw something.
Bawumia defended that they have built a Yepkwado. Wicked souls.
Honorable Chair,
Ghana first.
Controller instructed them to pay, and they paid.
They paid.
I'm not aware whether the project has been completed or there's nothing ongoing.
You heard what he's saying, Honorable Chair. We were instructed to pay. We paid. We are not whether it is the job is being done or we were instructed to pay, Sarah. Whoa. Now we ya chiri koyoko a wakwa kwagina wo se uko defend. Memo ye hwie nsuo hie gumo so na mo na mo skin na tete. Ye be hwie acid gumo so. Bokro no bo micro no say. Hwia wo man sika na ma bre na enkofo safa na enkofo konam sreso wo mo kopie mu wo mo nam poso no a ese nkomu hunu nyansa no mo kansem ensem papa me yechichi nkofo e no mo gina social defend sa akrono body away mo da eposo a o manwu e wo pomu no a ese wo mu hunu ekwan a wo kire nti o mo fa aso kodu eye friends amanone ese mo support to aban we enam tribal bigotry nti omu hu ade efe kura mo se etan ti Auditor General see Mbusa Auditor General Bank of Ghana thought to say the governor thought he was smart and were referred to Auditor General said mo na mo strategy ese entua na etua me fa be hye wo de be hye anye yi
It's a final payment. Okay.
Final payment done.
Can we
Final payment $11.9 million paid.
Auditors, could you help us out over here? It says final payment. Now the honorable member is saying that there's nothing at that side. I'm sure when you did the audit you saw something.
Honorable Chair, Controller instructed them to pay and they paid. We are not aware whether the project has been completed or there's nothing ongoing.
Controller instructed that they pay and they paid. They are not aware whether said.
Chairman, I'm not happy with the response from the auditors.
This is what MPP, led by Nana Kwekubunsa, Adu, Dada hini, and Dada for him. Dada Nyakupon basic Cathedral. Oh, Sika Muria, oh, Kono Bob mine. May you share video back could be no more bachelor. Omina ya cromfo, including Baumia. It was a cartel. A Kufuado, the finance minister. One more Bank of Ghana at the time. Ofori-Atta. Ken Ofori-Atta mabonidi. Omina ya cromfo. Now the Baumia. Ekafa. Walugu. Dam one. Because Baumia. Nasana oti. Yinti Baumia.
You come from. And Mono, can you beat your chest and say, yeah, yet this signature project in the north?
I think here the most important project here in the north since independence, a Pualugu Dam project.
Okay.
Is the biggest investment. Say we're drawing books since independence.
Okay. How
I check government be about say Pualugu Dam. But we're here as a signature project and in Ebeda #1. So there's no doubt about that.
Or say signature project #1, Ebeda #1 as MPP for achievement. This man sat on a Kosi show. The whole nation tuned in to listen. And he was peddling lies in 2020 near Kotwaba. Obufi said, Pualuguno, Obefa a year plane. Now they are Korean, no, I could get a year pen, a year friend is a ticket. No, I could share Pualugu. This man, he is a born thief, a born liar, criminals, and Omediga. No wonder the president can say it was a crime scene. Ghana was a crime scene under Kufuor. 11.9 million. Oh, Sarah, or just the autistic. Good your autistic rather than you eating because we have people who are autistic or madri year juma. Autistic doesn't mean say you're wadri year juma. But when you're autistic or you're cromfo, let us not even use autism as a excuse. Definitely. There are people may autistic or madri muda where you're market circus. Where you're cromfo and need that one he's a thief.
The northern part of our country where you come from, and
like
can you beat your chest and say, yeah, yet this signature project in the north?
I think here the most important project here in the north since independence, a Pualugu Dam project.
Okay,
is the biggest investment.
Oh, Zongo native was saying my sound is not clear. Ebusi, I want to make
So we're drawing books since independence. A Pualugu Dam project is the biggest investment. So we're drawing books since independence.
Okay, how
I check government be by say Pualugu Dam, but we're here as a signature project, and in Ebeda number one. So there's no doubt about that. Pualugu Dam, no, it's a few moments later. I have no doubt in my mind that I was championing the Pualugu Dam. We have not yet been able to do it, but by the grace of God, I believe we are going to do the Pualugu Dam.
This is a man who said the Pualugu Dam has been built in 2020. In 2024, I say, I have no doubt in my mind that the Pualugu Dam will be built. After $11.9 million, yetua. It way yachi omwa. Uba frewu nini was se yengoshia wo yoku. Bibisa. I'm asking you, the NPP for no. And these are the gospel truth that you have to understand. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I was here for. And some of the doors, but video the man when Trasua, Nishani Bayed, I'm a Ghana for you, baby. But in some Pani Bessia, and I may add more. China, Yamera, the Akanina, the Baba song. Aha, and you heard him say, I may add more China. Latest news ever. The Nina, the Baba Tuja. Thank you, Ora Philip Kudu. I wish you, Medamuna Masi. Thanks for your support. Mama supporting the hundreds of people on YouTube and also the 30 people on Facebook. Thank you so much. God bless our homeland Ghana. Make our nation great and strong. Go to defend forever. These people must go to jail. I say confiscate to my assets. Near the show of my Ghana. They must rot in jail. Ken Ofori-Atta and Addison and Kufuor Abusuanwa or say, oh my God. Thank you and have a great month.